G'day guys, welcome back for day 2, the final day of WCS ANZ Challenger for Season 2 to see who, at the end of the day, is going to be going through WCS Jönköping at DreamHack Summer, and of course, who will be our grand final winner, the winner of the entire season, who will go home with a bank of several $1,000s. Pig, how are you doing this morning, mate?
Fantastic, and I'm feeling a little bit intimidated right now because your pronunciation there of Jönköping was actually very on point, and I'm feeling very underprepared right now, but that was really good, man. You
gotta practice the things that count. I'm like, should I work on my game knowledge? Should I become an analyst caster, or should I pronounce cities correctly?
It's all right. It's all right. Then we can take turns there. We've both got our own element there. Of course, the first match coming up is going to be a big one. We've got a big TVP between two of the absolute top players, Probe, who won last season, and Seither, a guy who's kind of had a bit of a letdown last season, a bit of a surprising exit.
And he actually was the guy who won the last season's qualifier for the final season of WCS last year to qualify for Montreal. But decided in the end not to go. But he did still win the big bucks. He won the whole thing. He got that spot, but in the end it ended up being Igus going overseas for, But Seither is, he is a premiership player. He is of that tier. He's made it before. Probe very recently making it before, so this is, as far as I'm concerned, a premier face-off. So I'm very excited. One of, if not the best Terran in the region. Arguably it's either him or Igus. They always share the role. Going up against the undisputed greatest Protoss in our region right now. I just want the game just to start. It's just the situation right now because it's just going to be incredible. I'm really excited for this one.
It's really cool. I mean, the stories behind both of these guys. Seither is a player who came out of nowhere. Early 2016, kind of late 2015 really. He started to make appearances in tournaments, but it was really early 2016 where he was just, not just beating the best players in the region, but destroying them in one-sided matches. And he wasn't completely consistent. He'd always get beaten by Igus at first. His TvT wasn't quite up there. And then we had that culmination of like a year's work at the Montreal qualifiers. He just destroyed everybody. And when he's on point, Seither looks unstoppable. But with that surprising exit so early last season, I think there's a big question mark amongst a lot of the fans about how is he going to perform? Is he going to bring his A game here?
I think from memory, Seither's early exit, I'm not sure if it had completely to do with it, but I remember last season when we were casting, I was hearing from, Death, who was casting with us, and also a couple of the other players, like in various Discords and whatever that a lot of us community people are in, that Seither wasn't feeling well that day. He was actually feeling sick.
Yeah.
So maybe that had a contention to do with it. Today, he's clearly feeling a fair bit better because he's been tearing it up in the bracket so far. We haven't actually had any See the games on stream yet, so this will be the first one. We've seen Probe. We saw that he had a little bit of a shaky series against me and Micah. As it stands, Probe is a little bit worried about playing Zerg. He actually doesn't feel super good about his PvZ right now. I have no idea why, because Game 1 on Proxima looked pretty perfect as far as PvZ goes.
Yeah.
But he definitely likes to play PvT. He would prefer to play PvT all the way through here. That's his game plan. To beat Seither, and then, he's expecting Igus to beat Crimson, so then face Igus in that winner's bracket final.
And he's looked so good at it. And the really interesting thing about how Pro plays PvT as well is he's got his own style and his own understanding. This is a guy who, right through Legacy of the Void, has been writing his own guides and kind of developing his own styles. So, of course, it's been a good path through the Challenger here. The Open Qualifiers last weekend and then the round of 16 yesterday. We've been working our way through that double elimination bracket. Of course, today we are starting with the upper bracket semi-finals, and there will be some lower bracket matches as well, working our way through to both that upper finals and that eventual grand final. So these guys in these matches, even if they get knocked out here, they are going to go to the lower bracket and still have one more life to potentially make a name for themselves.
If you guys were concerned, like, hey, I'm watching an Australian tournament, I haven't seen a ZVZ yet. Don't worry, they're coming. There's a couple in the losers bracket here. We can see that they're in the losers bracket. Mighty Kiwi and Peppy facing off there. Demilove and NXZ. And Demilove is a guy that we've been talking about a little bit yesterday because we got to feature him a couple times on stream. That he's so confident in himself, and he's really, if anyone has the fire inside to want to win one of these WCS qualifiers and get through, it is Demilove. He's wanted this for so long. It's the pot of gold at the end of his rainbow every season that comes along. He's like, this is what I want. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling practiced. And he's very, very high MMR in career as well, along with Mighty Kiwi and Peppy, who are, we've got a New Zealander against an Australian there. Both, I'd say Peppy probably the more, I don't want to say gimmicky, but aggressive Zerg. Like, he's definitely likes to play shorter games. He likes to try and trick his opponent. And then the Mighty Kiwi's a very, very solid ZVZ player. NXZ, of course, being a premier player before, he's a bit of a question mark for me. I haven't seen NXZ play in a long time.
Yeah, I know he was a little bit out of practice. He kind of came into this as a wild card, but NXZ, a player with a lot of experience, he knows how to pull out those builds which can surprise his opponent. So I think he's going to be going through taking every match as a chance to get some points, and any win's going to be a big win for him.
Yeah, and we can see that the series coming up next on stream. Shortly after we look at these brackets for the round of 4, we have Probe and Seither in that winners bracket semi-final, and then Crimson and Igus will be next on stream. So PvT and a TVZ coming up. Pretty exciting. I'm loving PvT right now. It's really exciting to watch. A lot of the openers have been quote-unquote figured out, but it's, it can go anywhere from there. So it's a really exciting matchup for me. And TVZ, of course, for me as a fan and as a player, is just the greatest matchup of all time as far as I'm concerned. I just love TVZ.
Back and forth, action-packed. I mean, it's all about that map control, that creep spread. The Terran's constantly trying to keep the Zerg in check. It's such a... You can just kind of see every single bit of the action play out in front of you. It's really cool. But starting off with the TVP, I am very excited because I was mentioning before, Probe has his own sort of style, and we often think of TVP at the moment. You think of Phoenixes, you think of Adepts, you think of some early Oracles, and you think of the Terran desperately trying to defend all of this and then get up a really large army and, take it to the late game. But Probe does not favor that style. He throws it in 1 in every 3 or 4 games. He definitely knows how to do it. But you talk to him and he says, yeah, I don't really practice it. I think it's really easy to do. I like to do it because Terrans don't like playing against it, but most of the time he's opening up with Robos. We're seeing fast Prisms, and even often a fast Robo and Twilight before extra gateways, which is like really early Legacy of the Void kind of Zest style. And then he just loves to get up lots of Adepts, but rather than using Phoenix, he just adds in Blink Stalkers, Sentries, Immortals, and plays this very mid-game, aggressive positioning-focused style. Yeah,
and you touched on Phoenix of Death, which was, a bit of a PvT meme for a while. A lot of people got upset about it, they got up in arms, but... rightfully so, it's a unit composition that's effective for a little while, and then it's not anymore. Or you're going to have to transition out of it at some stage if you want to survive late game against a Terran, especially one that's of Seither's caliber. And it's just kind of falling out of fashion a little bit, to be honest, the Phoenix Adept. We're seeing other things, like you mentioned. Robo play, people going fast Colossus, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. There's, it's kind of cool because a lot of players, sometimes in the StarCraft community, we say, this is such a vastly complex and difficult game. We end up following each other around in a little bit of a pack, but not this guy down here. Spawning in the bottom left-hand side of Proxima Station, representing Root OSC, it is Probe.
And in the top right, one of the greatest Terrans in the Australian region. This is Seither.
I'm loving the intro music too.
Yeah, I was just about to mention it. After the play intros here, that production said to me, hey man, I would make some changes. It's not graphical, but I think you'll enjoy it. I think I just realized what it was.
Nice.
Put some sick shredding out there. That's what I'm talking about. Whip the hair back and forth.
And it's gonna be a good match here, of course. Both these guys want this. At this point, you win this, you go through to top 3. You are guaranteed, even if you lose your next couple of matches. So it is the big one. If you can get through, it's such a big relief. And for both of these guys, they know if they want to win this, if they want to get top 2, they're gonna have to beat a Probe or a Seither or an Igus. They're going to have to beat at least one of these top 3 guys to get through and get that qualifying spot to WCS Jönköping.
That's right. So it's at that point in the tournament where you get to, when there's something that's this high level of a tournament, eventually, no matter how good your bracket is, you have to face one of these badasses. It's really, really rough. But we see the Probe's coming in here, getting a little bit of a look-see, sees the gas timing, and then leaves before the wall-off's complete. Seither's going for not a Reaper expand. He's just opening a Marine first and getting that quick factory here with that extra gas. So he's looking like he wants to power up through that tech tree.
Yeah, Proxima Station, of course. Oh, that's not on the map. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Well, there we go.
The bottom of the monitor is a little bit darker.
Sorry,
so
the
we tend to miss the
proxies.
Dark for us. But that's actually really cool. So this is not that close, so it doesn't look like he's going to lift it into the main base necessarily. He might do that, but maybe Proxy Cloaked Banshee is definitely something which could come out here.
Well, we are seeing the starport getting dropped right next to that factory, so he's being very cheeky here.
Okay, Widowmine drop to start out. That's going to be fantastic. So really fast Widowmine drop, and this Probe wants to see something else. It's going to come up that ramp, but really, what does it see? A reacted barracks? This tells it absolutely nothing. So Probe has no information right now. Is his hair going to stand on end? Is he going to get that six StarCraft sense where he says, I think something might be coming?
Getting the Robo here is nice and safe for Probe. He should be able to get an Observer out as soon as possible. Which will be nice against the mines, obviously, but this is going to hit very, very early here for Seither. Does he wait for 2 mines before he shoots off? Or, I guess he'll have to, because the medevac is going to take a little while here. But yeah, that's going to give Probe time to get this this robotics facility up. Means he can get detection if he needs to, but he also needs he needs overcharges, adepts, that sort of thing to be super safe. And you don't think he'll have both of those things.
And there's a lot of angles you can come in from here, so even once your hand's being shown, you can easily just build another medevac, build a few more Widow Mines, and just keep coming in with these. And it's very easy for the Protoss to just be slightly inattentive for a moment. Suddenly there's 2 burrowed Widow Mines in your mineral line, and kaboom, your economy is gone.
Oh, and he's following this up with a Liberator as well. This is actually a great TVP opening, but the small difference is that Seither's doing it right in front of his main.
And Probe's actually not building extra gateways. He's going for a Disruptor Den right now. He wants to go for Disruptor drops, I think, and he has no idea this is coming. It's going to come in right now.
Oh, boy. First Widow Mine there. Nice pullback from Probe, so you can only take 1 Probe damage. The Overcharge is going to kill that mine, though.
Good overcharge.
Good defense so far from Probe. He's just going to bait out the Widow Mine here and then send the Probes back to
nice.
work. So not taking much damage at all.
This is good defense by Probe, just on the ball with that reaction. Goes straight back to mining. He has an Observer out. He's got a Warp Prism on the way now. And yeah, this is a pretty great opening, but it's not over yet. An extra Widow Mine is going to load up, I believe. And once again, 2-pronged pressure. Probe needs to overcharge the moment these units come in.
That's right. Overcharge is his only anti-air right now against this Liberator. And the Pylon, he doesn't actually have the happy triangle of pylons here for a pure defense against Terran. So this Liberator is actually going to be outside of pylon range.
Oh, wow. That Liberator is going to cause a real nuisance here. A nice overcharge on the back of the Natural is going to try and zone that away. But here we go. Realizing he can pair up a Widow Mine with that Liberation Zone. Gets 3 Probe kills on the left-hand side. Seither here. Oh!
There's 4 more. Damn. So now Seither's harassment here is doing a lot of damage. And he's just going to lift everything up and go back home. He's happy with this opening here now that he's done this damage. The Stalkers are in an awkward position. They have to take Liberation shots to be able to clean this up. They will get rid of the mine, which is nice, but still the Liberator does live to fight another day. Oh, he's getting speed here.
Another Widow Mine just burrowed on the left-hand side, or it moved to the left-hand side. And there we go. Nice shot. 2 more. Very well done here by Seither. And the Liberator with a great repositioning. Oh, man. This is going from bad to worse here for Probe.
Well, at least he doesn't have Liberator range. That's pretty strong in this map. But Probe does have a follow-up here to get potentially a lot of damage done on Seither's side of the map. It looks like he got Prism speed, and he also got a Disruptor loaded up in it as well. And there it goes. Look at that thing power on.
Yeah, the tech's going to be delayed by Seither. He had to float those buildings all the way home. They're just landing and putting add-ons down now. If Probe can get 1 or 2 good Disruptor hits on the SCVs, this is going to be nice. But Seither well positioned. He's watching for it.
Oh my, wow. Not the greatest splits in the word there from Seither. Loses a lot of Marines that Disruptor shot. It looked like he was a little bit indecisive of like, oh, can I kill it before it shoots off? Or, you know, what do I need to do here? But he lost a lot of Marines there. Great connection from that Disruptor. Small moves like that going to get Probe back into contention. But I mean, as far as supply count concerned, his army's looking pretty healthy here. And his worker count's still ahead of Seither's because he has that double Nexus overcharge production. Well, not overcharge, but Chrono Boost.
Not doing too bad for himself is Probe, and forcing out a few missile turrets, continuing to fly about here. You know, Seither, you can try to boost after, but that's a speed warp prism.
Yeah. Not going to happen, mate.
These things are like Mutalisks on speed, man. They don't stop. They just go so fast. And Seither's going to see that 3rd Nexus goes down. Probe just kind of transitioning into a more standard game. And remember, because you open up Disruptor tech like this as Probe, you can very easily start building Colossi whenever you want, adding in some very stable splash damage to your army.
Very careful. That's a full medevac there. This Prism just looks unkillable. Like, even with the Viking, it's going to be tough to catch. Oh, Prism shot going out there, not getting any damage. There's that single Viking, but again, it's a speed Prism. He's not going to catch that. But he is coming home with this SCV. He's seen the 3rd, like you said. Seither's got the information he wants, and he's like, okay, I'm up for my next plan. And Probe, speaking of his next step of his plan, is getting a Twilight Council here and a Forge. He's gearing up for that later game.
Yeah, he's going to be really wanting those upgrades to get out. Of course, there's going to be a big window before any of that kicks in. And Probe has actually cut Probes for the moment. He's building Colossi. I think he's going to want to be restarting that Probe production in the near future because we've got a 3rd orbital command center going down to land.
Oh, the Widow Mine's going to hit the Prism.
Ooh.
Does survive. But that Prism cannot take another hit for sure, and he's going to pull out here. That might be the end of the Disruptor drop play for now.
There's a Viking somewhere, so he knows he has to go home. He can't stay out there.
Too many Stalkers. Seither can maybe pressure the 3rd, though, with this drop. There's quite a lot of army supply here. Oh, a double drop play.
Oh,
the Observer of Probe, and it looks like it was selected, is actually going to be able to spot this on the minimap. Oh!
That Warp Prism is so fragile right now, but the Disruptor shot is massive.
Oh my god, what a great connection there for Probe. And Seither's just lost all the teeth from this fight here, this drop. Oh, the prison, no, it does go down. It's just huge blows to both players, but the medevacs get taken out by Probe. This is trades all over the place here in the early stages of this game. Yeah.
Each player taking turns there.
Oh, the Robo facility. This is producing Colossus here.
If he can get that down, that's a big hiccup in Probe's contestation here. His ability to get up that splash damage. The gateway unit's going to come in, force the pickup. Widowmine takes out an Adept on the way out. And nice drop play from Seither. Both players tied neck and neck in supply right now, Maynard. But I think getting that Robo was so important for Seither. I mean, he's just on bio medevac production, but look at it. His economy is equal in workers, which is great for Terran. He's getting up that barracks production. He's building a lot of bio. The longer he delays that Colossi, the more chances he has to make use of the strength of multi-prong drops on this map. And I can tell you, if there's one way to pick apart Protoss on Proxima, it is drops.
For sure. The back natural is very, very droppable. The third and fourth location also very droppable. And Seither just not relenting here, loading up another couple medevacs for more drop harassment play. Probe's setting up these pylons. He's getting ready for that fourth Nexus. And yeah, just running off the information that he has. So there's going to be two sets of 2 medevacs here, 4 in total for Seither, and he's going to try and drop in 2 places at once with looks of things. He's also getting the fusion core to get Liberator range, and that's another really, I touched on it at the beginning of the game, but this is a really strong strategy for this map in particular. There are some spots where the Liberator can park it and not get contested.
It's a very front-on map. If you can push forward with that range advantage, it's going to be tough. Probe only on 1 Colossi, getting his second and third out now. His blink has finished. He's adding in resonating glaives to make those adepts a lot meatier. Core to his army. He's starting his +2 attack, and we'll be starting that +2 armor soon enough as well. And really, Probe is just in full-on defense mode. We can see our observer Insano there showing us that there's observers everywhere on the map. They are seeing the drops before they come. Probe is pretty well positioned for them. And the pressure is on Seither to make something happen before the Colossi count gets too high, before 2-2 kicks in. Yeah,
he's starting Viking production now as well. Obviously, Liberators and Vikings are great addition. Just that Sky Army alone can almost beat any Protoss force, but it's going to come out to numbers in the end here. We have 2 Colossus at a time. Well, after Probe lost that robotics facility, he decided to make 2 robotics facilities at once to get that double Colossi production. But did get cut into a little bit there. He's going to clear out that Widowmine and get that 4th Nexus eventually. Oh, Widowmine drop here in the back third. Doesn't look like it's going to get too much done.
A little bit of show-off micro there from Probe. Just going to bait out those Widowmine shots, blinking away before they can hit. To, of course,
that 4th is not happening.
Yeah, the 4th base gets cancelled at the same time. A drop coming into the main base. Oh. Nice blink forward. That observer saw this coming for so long, and Probe was just waiting for it to overcommit. Snaps one of those drops down at the same time, cleans up the Widow Mines. But Probe is stuck here on 3 bases. He's really worried about that all-in we always talk about, the big kind of Terran trying to kill Protoss before they get out of control. But this clearly isn't Seither's game plan. Seither's like, nah, I'm just going to make upgrades. 4th Command Center's going down to the gold. He's got 2 starports building 3 range Liberators at a time. 2-2's about to kick in. Seither is about to hit a very scary army with about 8 or 9 range Liberators, 2-2, and a massive bio. This is going to be so hard for Probe to stop.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually very surprised Seither isn't getting ship weapon upgrades for considering he's getting a very high Liberator count and getting Vikings up as well. Like, when you get not so much +1, but when you get +2 ship weapons, makes a huge difference with those Liberators.
Start 2-shotting Stalkers rather than 3-shotting them again, which is actually massive. Because Tempests are so far away, I don't see Tempests coming into play any time this game for Probe. So it's all going to be about Blink Stalkers trying to get underneath those Liberators.
That's right. Seither gearing up for, looks like a big drop here, possibly with Liberator zones to defense. Freedom zones.
Oh, the Doom drop of death. This is so hard to stop. If you don't get on top of this before it sets up, the observer sees it, though. It's giving a little bit of warning. Will Probe be able to react?
He's got so many Stalkers.
Oh my.
He does have Liberator range, though, so there is a pocket here between the main and the back natural where the Liberators can set up and get damage done. But as far as the drop play is with the bio, I don't know if that's going to work out for Seither here. There's so many Stalkers.
Great defense from Probe so far. He realizes how dicey this situation is. The upgrades are even 2-2 aside, but as this army maxes out and Seither gets out a crazy number of range libs, he's getting +1 ship weapons, he's getting 3-3. Probe is really going to have the pressure on him to surprise Seither. He will not be able to engage these Liberators when they're set up.
Seither coming in here, putting the hurt on this 4th Nexus. A Liberator set up with range at the back here. Not really anything that Probe can do about this Liberator, by the way. He can get Stalkers in there one at a time, but it's going to be very inefficient. He's going to lose several Stalkers getting up there, and looks like Seither going to try and drop into the back natural while the entire army of Probe is here. I think actually not the entire army. I think he still has Blink Stalkers in the main, but Yeah, he's certainly losing a little bit having to deal with that Liberator.
Seither here playing so patiently, continuing to pick off the observers, picking up. He's probably just going to redrop there, knowing it's been spotted. Probe is saying, enough is enough. I'm going to move out on the map. He has 5 Colossi, multiple disruptors, and those disruptors are the key here. But you've got to remember, there's very little anti-air with that main army. It's all in the main base of Probe, trying to stop the drops. And as a result, it's scary for Probe to push. He's just got nothing to shoot down the Liberators or Medivacs.
Yeah, and there's that drop we were talking about a little bit earlier here. The main, Seither always scanning before he goes two-hand with those Medivacs. No Doom drops here, and some Adept's going to do some damage on the other side of the map here. Seither doesn't really have the units to split up here. A lot of it's on Probe's side of the map.
Oh, this could do some nice damage, and it's about time Probe did something to the economy of Seither, because it's been untouched all game long. Not a situation we often see in this matchup. 9 SCVs will go down before that's cleaned up, but Seither's doing a good little bit of counter pressure here and there as well. Liberator, once again, sieged up on that 4th base. Probe's income is starting to drop a little bit as all these annoying pressures just pick apart.
Yeah, absolutely right. And this time, Seither finds an opening. He's got this 4th base on lockdown. That Nexus is going down. There's not a whole lot that Probe's going to be able to do about this. Like, yes, he can deal with the bio eventually, but these Liberators are making it so tough for him to engage it. His anti-air is all but naught, except for his Blink Stalkers. He made a Stargate earlier, but he hasn't been making anything out of it yet.
Probe is in a very poor position right now. His one chance is to have one fantastic engagement. Probe has to go full patience mode here. Not Patience the player, of course. He has to be the opposite. He has to play very calm, very defensive, and he just needs to look for that angle. He cannot fight when the Liberators are siege. So, oh man, the probe count is so low right now.
I think they were heading towards the gold base, like to make a Nexus down at the gold base. But Seither's actually ready for the next part of the plan, man. He's getting ghosts now. The ghost nest is complete. Ooh. Oh, Widowmine still being annoying here for Probe. Give Seither a little bit of spotting here to get a scan and see the entire army, see its upgrades.
The army supply is very big for Probe right now. He's lost so many workers. He's actually up at 148, almost 150 army supply. This is so many units. And the thing is, he's got like, what, 4 or 5 disruptors on the ground, plus 5 Colossi? That's just so much splash damage. I think he might. No, he's not going to commit to it. But if he can catch him with half the Liberators unsieged, I feel like the bio is just going to disappear. If those Stalkers can overpower the Liberators, then Seither just will lose the game very suddenly. But Probe cannot rush in. If all the Liberators are sieged, if there's Widow Mines there to stop the Stalkers from blinking forward, then Seither will be okay. So this is a very tense moment. Probe needs to find this engagement. He's going to go for it. Disruptors flying from every single angle, Maynard.
They are, and as the Stalkers blinking forward to try and get rid of these very scary Liberators, which are tearing apart the Colossus count. It's looking like Seither maybe he's just going to have enough. No, the Colossus aren't going to live here in the north, and the Stalkers blinking forward, getting into that medevac count, and the Liberators are all gone here for Seither, and he's starting to take the Protoss siege. All the Disruptors have all lived as well. Storm on the way for Probe. He triple expanded, so even though he lost that Nexus on the side there, he does have 2 more Nexi already completed. And Seither's evacuated, going back into the main. He's got nowhere to hide.
It's the battle for the production right now, Maynard. If Seither can hold on to his production, he's got 3, 4 mining bases. He's got so much money. He's got ranged Liberators. There's no effective answer to it for Probe. Seither just needs to hang on to his production line if he can keep these barracks alive. And there we go. 4 Liberators pop out. There is no breaking this for Probe. Probe is going to have to back off and try to pick away some of the economy. But Seither here, every second that goes by, look at his supply. It is just zooming forward. The macro of Seither here is so strong.
Absolutely, a very, very strong macro play. In fact, getting a disruptor there. It's a nice high-tech pickoff. Probe's going to probably take this planetary out and maybe head back home, because getting rid of this planetary is one last thorn in his side that he doesn't have to worry about. Oh, he doesn't quite finish it off.
Oh, he's worried because this gold base is so important for him, and Stalkers just cannot fight this drop. The Marine Marauder medevac here taking down all the workers, a bunch of Stalkers, and gets out of there. Seither, oh man.
Just getting out of there. Or in fact, looks like he won't. Yeah, so Probe will clean this up. Thankfully, he does get to keep that 4th Nexus, but his income's just almost half that of Seither right now. He keeps taking harassment damage. Mothership Core's here with plenty of energy for overcharges, but is there enough to still stop the drop? He's warping in some units defensively. The Mothership Core goes down. Tons of Probes dying here, Pig. And the economy of Probe is just really in shambles right now.
Look at these bases in the corners of the map. Seither has just taken so many planetaries. He says, yeah, I might lose one fight. There's no way you're taking all of these out, though. He is mining from 4 fresh, brand new bases. Meanwhile, he's wiping out every single worker of Probe. And Seither here just showing a masterclass of patient PvT. He's just picked away at Probe, never overcommitted, and now Probe has just been bled dry. He's just got a couple Colossi left. One of them goes down, a few Stalkers. His army's in shambles. Meanwhile, Seither has almost maxed out again.
Oh, so many TVPs turn out like this on Proxima Station, and Seither has cracked this nut here. There is not much left in the tank for Probe as Seither just continues to drop here. It's just been so effective for him all game long. Going to finish off these forges. They're not really useful anymore, but he is still pulling the army of Probe apart, taking him away from this major engagement here with all these Liberators. Oh. The Bio stepping forward and killing a lot of these Stalkers. Disruptors coming through, connecting with a few units, but it's not enough. GG. Seither gets game number 1.
Beautiful play there from Seither. Just comes in there, opens up with the fast Widowmine drop. I love that. Takes the fight to Probe from early on. And, you know, Probe's defense, that first Widowmine drop, it looked really promising. But then he was doing a little bit of a greedy build. It's something we don't see that often, that Disruptor drop, because you skip out on a lot of gateway units. You cut the pylon that was going to be finishing that triangle around his mineral line. And when that Liberator came in, Seither found himself an edge. And then that was the story of the entire game. Never a big frontal YOLO push. It was, I'm going to pick away. I'm going to send a little drop here, a Liberated there. A drop here, a Liberated there. Meanwhile, just macroing insanely well behind that.
Yeah, death by 1,000 cuts there is how Seither played that TVP. Very patient play, and Probe trying to be patient as well, but still, Seither just managed to find all those openings somehow, some way. The power of scans, I suppose. So finding all those little openings there and getting the little chip damage here and there at Probe until eventually the health bar of Probe hit 0.
It could have gone very easily wrong for him, right? Because the map vision from Probe was so great. There was a lot of moments where those drops almost went too deep on that massive Stalkers in the main base. Probe was very well prepared, and I feel like he played the situation well. You know, he said, I'm ready for every next wave of attack, but Seither was so good at picking up on like, whoa, wait a second, this isn't my moment. Let's step back, take another base, and let's just keep picking away at you. Because if he overextended even once there, I think Probe just gains control of that game and turns it around.
Absolutely. And there wasn't really a chance for a Probe to do damage on the other side of the map. Like, I very, very rarely remember moments where Probe was actually on the other half of the map doing damage to Seither.
It was like that 1-4 Adept counter attack that killed like 10 SCVs at like the 15-minute mark, and that was about it.
He got Prism speed, so I expected to see a lot more Prism play, to be honest. Like, I thought that he was going to do a lot more harassment on the other side of the map, but the fact is, Seither was always in his face that all of his warpins were defensive. So, you know, he just needed those Stalkers at home. Like, couldn't really do anything on the other side of the map.
That's the kind of nightmare position, isn't it? You know, and Probe was doing it so well, saying, okay, I'm hoping you'll engage into me and I can shut it down, and that's how I kind of take control of the game. And Seither was like, no, it's fine. He kept that Viking alive, I believe, checking for Warp Prisms all game. He built missile turrets. He just kind of checked everything very well. So a really well-balanced play from Seither, and something which was very impressive. I had a moment of worry. That first Disruptor drop. When it came in, it shot and the Marines kind of spread and then decided to clump back together, and I was like, oh no, that's nerves. I can see nerves right there. But he rallied so well after that.
Actually, I remember like another really great Disruptor hit from Probe at the 3rd Nexus where Seither was coming in for a bit of an attack, but yeah, in the end, Seither getting the victory there against the #1 seed Probe, the victor of the last season, the champion of last season. Will Probe be able to pull it together for the next 2 maps and win the series, or will Seither close this one out? I'd love to see what the map choice is for the second game here for Probe.
Yeah.
All right, Abyssal in the top left here. This is Probe.
Representing OSC route. And of course, his opponent down in the bottom right-hand side. An interesting comment to start off the game. It is Seither.
One not responded to as well, by the way. I think Probe's... you know, he's a player who's an emotional player, and it looks like Seither's going to proxy again here.
Ooh, all right. So this is the Barracks first. So it's going to be a proxy Reaper, possibly. Could be a proxy Cyclone Rush. Something that's definitely going to be very aggressive. Almost certainly, we will probably be seeing a fast second gas out of Seither, and that's going to tell us a lot about his plans. So Probe, though, being very safe, coming out with a nice early scout. With his Probe, he's going to be scouting exactly what's up. And yes, it's a 2-gas opening from Seither. So Probe's got to get in there, and seeing this 2-gas, he's going to say, okay, there's really only 2 options. One is you're just going to kind of build a reactor and a factory and just rush me with Cyclones as fast as possible. Or you're going to be doing a little bit of Reaper pressure, maybe a follow-up Liberator, maybe a follow-up Widowmine drop, some sort of starport play to follow that up.
Yeah, Probes obviously knows exactly what he's up against here. Well, not exactly what he's up against, but he knows he's being proxied right now, so he's going to get very defensive and lock things down in that main base. get that happy triangle of defense up for those pylons.
Exactly what the players want to be seeing here, and Probe going to try and find exactly where that proxy is as well. And he's looking for it. He will be finding it in a moment. This is important because he wants to see if there is a factory. Did his Probe see... Actually, no. Okay, so the factory, where is that going to be going down, I wonder? There we go, back at home. So no idea that that is there. Probe is frantically looking around because he's worried about Cyclones right now. So he's just got a Zealot out. He's building a Mothership core. He's worried about what could be coming his way. This first Reaper is going to come on in, try and get a couple of Probe kills, but good wall off there from Probe. It's very frightening for the Reaper to jump through that gap between the pylon and the gateway. It's very easy for the Probes to just surround him if he does that.
That's right, and he also doesn't know when exactly that Mothership core is going to pop, so gotta be very, very careful. It always pops with enough energy for an instant overcharge. Oh, is there going to be a proxy Stargate here after this factory finishes?
Yeah. Looks like a classic Kelazur opening here, something he used a lot last year, where really you're going to be looking to either proxy Banshees or Liberators and get a few Cyclones out back at home as well and defend. Interestingly, a lot of Protoss players love to go Oracle against this, but so far, Probe hasn't even got an expansion. He's been so paranoid about the Cyclone follow-up that he's still on one base. And oh, it is going to be a proxy Stargate.
Oh, hell yeah. This game's going to get interesting, Pig. And I say that with inverted quotes on both sides.
I think, you know, this all comes down to how safe Seither is going to be. He's got to build a Widow Mine after this first Cyclone and get that in his mineral line. If he doesn't do that, I think he's just going to take too much damage to the Oracle. So Seither, oh, he's queuing up a second Cyclone. Okay, if he leaves the Cyclones at home, he'll be okay. But if they move out on the map, that Oracle will decimate him for now.
Oh, he sees it with the Reaper, though.
So now Seither's so good, man.
Yeah, Seither is actually in a pretty good spot here, seeing is the follow-up plan of Probe. He's bringing that barracks back home as well for extra defense. In fact, he could burn down this pylon before the Oracle gets out as well.
Oh, this is massive. Probe. He didn't cancel the Stargate.
Ooh.
And that is his only tech. And look at this. He's building a Twilight Council behind this. Look at the tech that Seither's going for. He says, you can't build an Oracle. I know you didn't build a Robo because you built that Stargate. I'm going to make Cloak. I'm going to make Cloak Banshees. And there is going to be no answer for this. This is almost a checkmate move, guys. I just don't see how Probe can possibly stop that Banshee.
When the Banshee comes out and he sees that Banshee Cloak, he may just leave. That might just be the end of the game. I've seen Special win TVPs exactly this way in at DreamHack. Like it's just when you see it, that's it. So yeah, it just doesn't look good for Probe right now.
Yep, having Agile Stalkers is great, but if they can't see the things that are killing all your workers, it doesn't matter all that much. And of course, there's even going to be Cyclones and Reapers coming in multiple numbers, and that alone is going to be hard for Probe to deal with. And look, this is just causing even more distraction. Reapers just trying to go in there. They're going to see no detection, and Seither's going to have a big smile on his face right now, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, the Cyclone's even getting that pylon there, and here comes the Banshee Cloak just about to finish. And when that Cloak happens, I think we're going to see Probe tap out here.
Oh, the Banshee's going to be going into that main base. Those Cyclones causing so much havoc in the natural. And the Banshee reveals itself. Goodbye, workers. Probe drops a Robo immediately. But he's already losing Zealots and Adepts down here to the Cyclones. Things are going from bad to worse here for our Protoss player. The #1 seed looks like he might be getting upset here. Yeah. Even a Mule dropping to repair that Cyclone.
Yeah, that's not a Mana Mule. That was for repairs. Not being controlled amazingly there by Seither. There's that Cloak. And there's nothing that Probe can do about this.
Seither just showing his class here. He's had some troubles in this matchup in the past, but bringing out some of these sneaky builds, surprising Probe in both games, and he probably wasn't expecting to get a straight-up a win here with the amount of damage he's done, but this really is just epic. Seither has an expansion down behind this. He's building more Banshees. He's got Stim on the way. He's got production. And the Observers only just started building Maynard.
Yeah. Meanwhile, 20 Probes have died, and the ones that are surviving have not been mining for a while here. So Probe's actually out of money, and just now going back to mining because he needs something. But the Observer's coming out here, and he will be able to finally clean up these Banshees, but the amount of damage he's taken is astronomical.
I think at this point we can call that a Mana Mule Maynard. Another one just dropped there in the mineral line of Probe, and Seither here maybe playing the mental game a little bit, trying to rub some salt in the wound, of course, knowing these two players might have to play a little bit later and wanting to get a bit of a mental edge over Probe.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. A third Banshee coming in here. Mule's coming down, but not being not repairing. Oh, they are actually just starting to repair.
They're mining minerals, actually.
Wow.
They're going to steal the minerals and go home.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. Seither's showing a lot of attitude this game.
What a cheeky boy.
Yeah. Probe hanging in there to the last minute. Got to admire his fighting spirit.
Yeah, tenacity here from Probe. But this is like you said, this is almost checkmate at this point. There's not a whole lot you can do at this point because he's taken so much damage. He's down to 21 workers versus the 43 of the Terran. He doesn't have income or production to be able to keep up with what Seither has planned. Look at how much production is here for the Terran player. There is just no way you can stop this.
Yeah. Probe got a little bit ahead of himself with that Stargate placement, I think, trying to build it right next to the natural of Seither. Made it a bit too easy to stop that from going up and being useful this game. And now Seither just closing it out in decisive fashion. Great build order choices from Seither, catching Probe unawares, and Probe trying to play a very defensive style.
Seither, you scumbag.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Oh,
Even
wow.
Maru would be grossed out at the number of mana mules going down in this game. And I can tell you, Maru, he's pretty free and easy with those
yeah, he's done it once or twice at the highest level tournaments in the whole world. The swag value.
Wow. At least he's repairing with those mules. He's got a third CC down as well. So Probe just, tenaciously staying in the game. Which is good. You know, a lot of players think someone's kind of having a mental breakdown when they stay in a game where they don't really have any avenue to win. But I think this is just a sign of someone who's actually very mentally calm and is just saying, you know what, I'm just going to keep playing it out, see what I can do, you know, rather than just exiting the game in a bit of a rage quit feeling. I'm just going to micro my heart out, see what I can do. There's always a chance to win.
That's not the unit you want to blink into here. There's that GG from Probe. And Seither closes it out with a 2-0 with a very cheeky game 2 there. And the number 1 seed is going to go to the losers bracket. Well, he will, unfortunately for Probe, have to play some PvZs to get through to see if he can get through the top 2.
That was a really impressive run. I like the Widow Mine drop there on Proxima. You know, both games, what's Probe doing? He's sitting back defensively. He's trying to play a very standard style. Seither was not letting it happen. And especially that game number 2, very decisive. And I love the fact that he's not just thinking, try and destroy my opponent, try and destroy my opponent. If you look at Probe historically, he's discussed this particular build and defending it on stream before. He's talked about how Proxy Stargate is a great response to it. Seither knows that, and he says, you know what, I'm going to do this opening. You're probably going to proxy a Stargate, and I'm going to look for it. And when I shut that down, suddenly you've got no tech, and you are in big trouble.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Like, you guys watching at home, then maybe, you know, be like, lol, Terran XD. Just have to keep in mind that that was very, very intelligent from Seither there to know about the follow-up there, to take out the Stargate completely. And after that Stargate went down, we were already calling it checkmate because we're like, okay, there's not much you can do against a Cloak Banshee follow-up. That is going to be so much damage that like you just don't come back from that point unless maybe the Terran player goes to sleep. Or, you know, the power goes out in his house or something like that. Or his hands fall off suddenly for some you know, sudden leprosy just kicks in and his fingers fall off. That's really the only reason you would lose at that point when you're that high level of player.
Yeah, outside of instant leprosy, I think
instant leprosy, yeah. It's real. Watch out, get tested.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's going to be our first series on stream there.
Good one.
Yeah, nice 2-0 there from Seither. So he will be going in the winners bracket final. And we'll be seeing who meets him there in the winners bracket final. Will be Aegis or Crimson next up on screen. So don't go away, guys. We'll see you then for the next series.